Morning, guys. There is only one absolute certainty in this universe, and you have it. It's the ability to control the power of your mind. Every day when I work with my students, we work on controlling the power of our minds through our breathing. This one simple act, this one simple thing that you can do in any moment, take control of your breathing, to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, for example. That's something that you can do, which demonstrate that's the only thing that's certain in this world. So when we look at our outside world, and get ready, life's going to come at you today like it does every day. Things are going to happen that don't go your way. Understand that same power that controls your breathing, you can control your response in any situation. So try that today. Anything that comes to you, you control it. Demonstrate your absolute certain power. Have a great day, everybody.
You talked about the fear of fear and how you had to learn to let go of your fear of fear. What does that actually mean, letting go of the fear of fear?
Yeah, so I talk about how we fear the wrong things.
What do we fear?
So most of us are fearful of how our friends are reacting, what's happening on social media, and what's the random bit of news that we heard. None of it is fact-based. That's one of the biggest issues that we have.
Worry-based.
It's worry-based, and it's also imagination-based. So we become fiction writers. We've all watched too many movies. Now we start writing these beautiful movies in our head. Well, not beautiful, scary movies in our head of what may happen. So our imagination, and Seneca said it best, we suffer twice. One in reality and one in imagination, right? We suffer twice. And this is the biggest...
What actually happens to us, and then the story we continue to tell ourselves.
Totally. Now, there's this incredible study in the book that I have to talk about. So they took monks and they took non-monks, and they
competed against each other.
Competed against each other, literally. So they put this plate where you experience heat. And so what happens is the non-monks touch this plate. Now, this plate heats up gradually, softly, and then at one point it gets really hot for 10 seconds and then it cools down. And so what happened is that when the non-monks touched it, the anxiety and pressure and stress in their brain just triggered straight away, even though it wasn't that hot.
It wasn't hot.
It was heating, but it wasn't hot to do anything major to you. But the anxiety and stress in imagination or in anticipation went through the roof in the non-monks. Now this is what's fascinating. When the monks touched it, they showed that it didn't feel anything as it rose, but as it got to its highest, they felt physical pain, but they showed no trigger of emotional pain because they did not assign any emotional element to that pain. So my point with that is, you can look at the news right now and you can get scared straight away and get in complete freeze mode, feeling stuck, paralyzed, whatever it is, because what you're now doing is you're creating a story of what's going to happen. And that story...
And you can cause sickness in yourself.
You can cause sickness
just by the
inside
story,
yourself.
not actually
the reality.
The facts of the disease hitting you or something happening physically to you.
Totally. And that story, again, can be used positively. So your story may actually be true. But if it's going to be true, now you can prepare. And that shifts you away from being scared because now you're preparing.
Yes.
And so the real
You can be confident because you prepared.
Exactly. And so we should be shifting our fear energy into preparation energy. Because what fear does is it keeps you locked there, right? We just feel stuck. I'll give you an example. Like when you were preparing for big games, when you used to play in the NFL, right? And you're playing American football against some of the biggest athletes in the world, it's like you can either sit there and be scared that you're going to play this game on the weekend, or you can prepare. And your confidence is in the preparation. So when people go, how do I feel confident right now? Are you preparing?
Are you putting the reps?
Are you putting the reps? Are you building your immunity? Are you taking your vitamins? Are you
drinking lots of water?
Are you drinking lots of water? Are you taking the steps that are needed to prepare for whatever's coming? You will feel more confident that way.
Yeah.
Your energy changes how you show up. When you are happy, positive, optimistic, full of life, creative energy, you make amazing things. But when you feel negative, down, depressed, sad for yourself, low energy, you don't make amazing things. And this is not something new that I'm telling you, you know this. The challenge is we are not in a high energy state. consistently enough to stay consistent on our goals, to follow through, to create the momentum, because we allow outside forces as well as our internal voice to keep us small, to keep us protected, to keep us scared, to depress our courage muscle. And then even though you have great ideas and great ambitions and a great heart and a desire to serve, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen because the energy isn't connected to it. If you've got a big idea but low energy, nothing happens. You don't follow through. And you end up seeing other people with a worse version of your idea but just more energy go off and do it. Have you ever seen it happen? You ever seen somebody make tons of money, have a huge impact off of your idea? With somebody with less heart and less vision and less creativity, but they just did it. They just got started. They just took action and just stayed consistent in their energy, and they made it happen. And you didn't, because you allowed the energy to dip. And so, if energy is so important, then how do we manage our energy? How do we keep it high? And it doesn't mean that you always have to be on top of the world, and you don't have to delude yourself and say, I'm amazing, this is going to be the greatest day of all time. Like, you don't, doing things that you don't believe won't help you get the energy that you need, because you'll do those things, say, this is BS, this isn't working. You don't always have to be in peak energy. But what you do need to do is be in the right energy to serve your mission and whatever you're doing today. So let me use me as an example, and today is a great example because I did not sleep well last night. Had 2.5 hours sleep, just tossing and turning and just could not get to sleep. So I slept from like 6:30 to 9 o'clock, did not sleep until 6:30 in the morning. And that is thankfully a rare occurrence. You know, most nights I get 8 hours sleep, 7.5 to 8.5 hours sleep. But on a day like today, when I woke up and did not have a ton of energy, I did not wake up and say, yes, I feel like crushing it, let's go. And I didn't want to do something that would feel fake and disingenuous, because if you don't believe it, then it's not going to happen anyway. So what did I do? Well, first off, videos have to happen today, because that's part of my identity, right? So momentum has to happen. So if you start to train yourself and you create a calendar and say, okay, today is a blank, I'm filming this on a Tuesday, today's a Tuesday, Tuesday's my video day, no matter what, I'm filming videos. I gotta film videos. It's gotta happen. It may not be my best video, but I'm gonna show up and give it the best that I've got. The best energy. This is a lot lower energy than I would normally show up with a video, but it's a different vibe, it's a different kind of energy, and hopefully it still serves. And maybe you like and connect more with this energy than Evan yelling in the car. I don't know, but videos have to happen, first off. Second, get outside. You know, get outside, get fresh air, get some sun on my face. If you want to change your energy, you want to shift where you're at and how you're thinking, because it's part physical energy, but also just mental energy. How do you feel about what you're doing and what's going to happen today? And getting out of your home, changing your physical environment, getting some sun on your face can make a huge difference. So every morning I have my Believe walk, and I'm walking around the park, getting some green, getting some sun. Hopefully it's not raining. Today's a beautiful day, and already it starts to make you feel a little bit happier, a little bit more in the right energy space. Music is a great way to change your energy. And often what we do is we put on songs that make us feel how we currently are. So if you feel sad, you put on a sad song. If you feel low, you put on a low song. If you feel chill, you put on a chill song. Where what we want to do is, if you want to change your energy, put on the song that matches that energy. If you want to feel happy or upbeat, put on happy or upbeat songs. I have a playlist on my channel called #Believe, all caps on the letters Believe. That's all of the songs that I listen to. And every day I've got that playlist going. I pick a random song and it just starts playing. And they're all songs that if they came on, it would make me move. And when you move, you start to change your energy. What I'm trying to do is, again, not create some fake energy, but something that I can actually connect with. I'm putting on songs that I actually like. I actually like having some sunshine on my face. You know, I actually like doing the work that I'm about to do. But it requires you showing up with a certain level of energy. And then the last one is, you know, who you're feeding your mind with, who you're around, who you're surrounded by. Both the people in your life, you know, actual humans, and the videos that you watch, or books that you read, and the podcasts you consume. I remember on the weekend, you got to guard against this. It's crazy. On the weekend, I went to go meet an old family friend, and he just had a lot of limiting beliefs about him and what he's creating and where he wants to go. And it wasn't meant to be a coaching session. I'm not there to help him, but just a really negative, low energy on a weekend. And that's not usually part of my routine on the weekend. And so I go to meet him, and my whole day ended up being thrown off until I caught it at night. I said, why am I so low and negative today in comparison to what I would normally be? And I thought back, you know what, ever since I went to see him, I was fine in the morning. I went to see him, and it had this negative ripple effect. You can have a positive ripple effect on people. You watch a video, and it can have a positive ripple effect on you. But there's negative ripple effects too. And the people who you're surrounded by, who you're hanging out with, who you're watching on YouTube or podcasts, etc., they can have a negative ripple effect on you as well. And so he had this negative ripple effect on me that lasted almost the whole day until I caught it in the evening. I said, this is what I want. Maybe it's not even my voice. It's like his voice planted in me. Why am I feeling this way? I don't like it. And so it became a conscious choice, and I applied a lot of the same things. I went outside, reset, get some fresh air. It always helps me. Put on some music, songs that I actually like, not some fake song that somebody else likes and says, dance to this, it'll make you feel good. Songs that I actually like. There are some songs that if it came on, it would make you move. It doesn't mean you get up and dance and go spastic and crazy, but there's some songs that if it came on, you would bob your head, or you would tap your feet, or bounce your knee. There's some songs that just make you do that, right? So put on one of those songs. It would naturally make you feel happier. So I did that too. And then in terms of just guarding against people, I made a note that, hey, the next time I go see this person, he's a family friend. So the next time I go see him, which isn't often, but still, the next time I see him, I need to remind myself of this. That I need to have my shield ready. I need to give love as much as possible, and I'm not going to allow his negativity to break my shield, to permeate through. And so the more that you can catch those things, the more you'll stay in a more energetic state. And all of this, again, is not trying to force fake energy and have you feel like you're doing something unnatural. I think it's actually the most natural thing of all time. I think getting sun is natural. I think smiling and being optimistic is natural. I think the negativity inside your head was planted there, was put there by other people. That's what's unnatural. When you were a kid and smiling and happy, had dreams of the future, everything was possible. Everything was hopeful. Sure, you had bad days, but you were a happy kid. And all of those dreams and positivity get squashed out of us by other people who hate their lives. And so I think having energy is actually the most natural thing. Not every day has to be on top of the world, but having positive energy is natural. Having sunshine leading to happiness is natural. Putting on music and dancing and moving is natural. Being around other positive, optimistic, happy people when you're around them, you'll naturally be more positive, optimistic, and happy. And so it's about finding what is a natural flow for you. That when you do these things, it brings out a better energy in you. It brings out a happier, more positive, more optimistic you. And if you know what some of those things are, you can copy my list if you want, some of them, right? Sunshine music, videos. Then put it into your daily routine. Put it into your daily calendar. Every day this has to happen. Because if you did the thing, just imagine this. You've had days when you felt energetic. And you've had days when you didn't. And everybody would give you the out, right? Like a day like today, 2.5 hours sleep. Everybody would give me the out. Like, okay, you don't have to do it. There are days when you need to bring the energy. If you did that every day, just imagine for the next month, every day, you did the thing that puts you in a better energy state. That you're on top of the world and then a fake high every day, but a better energy state. You did the thing in the morning that puts you in a better energy state for the next 30 days, how much does your life change? How much does how you show up change? How much does the work that you do change? How much does your bank account change? How much does the impact you're creating change? How much of a better father or mother or husband or wife are you? Because you're showing up with more energy, more positive energy. I know it's inside you. That's why you watch. If you subscribe to this channel, you're a good person. You've got a big mission. You want to help people. But if you are in a low energy state, you can't not only help others, you can't even help yourself. And so that's how we start to shift it. By pouring into yourself, it allows you to pour into others. By creating more positive energy for yourself, you create more positive energy for all the people around you too.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Good morning, guys. Today, top 10 rules for success. We are introduced to Robert Kiyosaki, and he is the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's a bestseller and an awesome book. I highly recommend it. And his advice today that stuck out for me on the first page is what focus means to him. Focus means following one course of action until it's done. It sounds so simple. It's the essence of determination, my core, my one word. And I believe our one word deep down inside, we have that ability to follow one course of action until it's done. So think about how you can apply that today in anything that you're trying to achieve. Follow one course of action until it's done. That's true focus. Maybe it's a situation where you just simply control your response, your focused response, to make sure that you don't respond negatively. Have a great day, everybody.
Execution, the carrying out and putting into effect of a plan, order, or course of action. Putting it into effect. Execution. I put it into effect. A course of action, not thinking. This is not a board meeting. This is not what do y'all think. This is not, let's get buy-in from our staff and make sure everyone's happy with it. I never get buy-in. I get my buy-in. Hey, do I want to do this event? Do I want to buy this piece of real estate? The number one question I'm asking myself all the time. Do I want to do this? Do I want to buy this piece of real estate? Right? Do I want to be in this? If not, bail out of it. If so, lean into it. And if I'm going to lean into it, that means time and money. It always will mean, if you take notes, it will always mean time and money. Never an idea. It's never a motivational speech. It's always time and money. Where your time and your money goes, you will follow.
Want to be happy? Build a life, not just a business. Hey, it's Amy Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know there's something more inside you too. You've got Michael Jordan level genius at something. So today, let's live your best belief life and learn how to stop procrastinating and being lazy. Enjoy. Rule number 2, start doing small things with Mel Robbins.
This is a question from Vicky. Vicky writes, I'm trying to become a fashion and beauty blogger and earn money from it full time, but I have some kind of mental block and procrastination problem when it comes to actually pushing myself to do anything related to that goal. This is something that we hear about all the time, that you have this huge goal, yet you cannot seem to push through the mental block, that you have something that you want to do full time, but you can't seem to beat procrastination. This is something that we see over and over and over again. And it's this idea that you don't ever start. You stay trapped in your head. And if you feel paralyzed, if you've been spinning the same ideas over and over and over again, then you know what I'm talking about. You see, many of you are thinking way too big. You're attaching way too much pressure on the things that you're interested in. Until you start blogging about fashion, you won't even know if you like it. So thinking that you have a dream about doing it and thinking that you have this grand plan that you're going to do it full time, it is a complete and utter waste of your time to be dreaming that big. And let me tell you why. Because oftentimes, if you're the kind of person like Vicky that's getting trapped up here, the bigness of what you're thinking about is what's stopping you. What I want you to do if you're in Vicky's situation is I want you to stop dreaming and I want you to just start doing small things. I want you to go back to curiosity and less into crushing your big goals. The thing about life and business and success is that you have to be willing to start. And for people that procrastinate, starting is the hardest part. For people that worry, for people that think too big, starting is the hardest part. Folks that study procrastination talk about the fact that the only way to beat procrastination is to create what they call a starting ritual, which is a way to push yourself to get started. Because all the research shows that if we can push you to get started on something, you'll likely keep going. So, Vicky, the only way to get out of the mental trap is to stop thinking and actually start doing it. And maybe thinking that this is going to be your full-time employment, that's the wrong way to go about it. I want you to literally just commit to writing some sort of blog about fashion every day for a week. That's it. Don't think about full-time. Don't think about the bigness of it. Actually start doing it. You may discover you don't like it, for crying out loud, but you're never, ever, ever going to advance if you continue up here. How do you force yourself to do it? Well, you can use the 5-second rule for that. You can wake up in the morning and say, today I'm committing to making small progress on this thing I'm curious about, which is fashion blogging. You can find time when you're going to sit down, and then the second that it's time to do it, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start writing. Here's what you can expect to experience if you're somebody like Vicky who has trouble getting out of the thinking loop. The second that it's time to actually move from thought to action, you will become a first-class asshole. You will feel resistance. You will struggle with what you're going to write. You will start to feel like it needs to be perfect. You're going to come up with excuses. You're going to talk yourself out of it. Why? Well, because you're used to thinking, and now you're asking yourself to do. Why am I explaining what you should expect? The reason why I'm explaining what you should expect is because it's normal to feel those things. It's normal to feel scared. It's normal to feel like you don't want to do it. It's normal to think about doing it perfect. Letting those things stop you is a choice. So, let me recap. You're the kind of person like Vicky that's got all these big-ass dreams, but you can't get out of your thinking loops. You can't stop procrastinating. You can't stop thinking about it. You get overwhelmed, and so you do nothing. The only solution is micro-action. That's it. I don't want to hear shit about your big goals. In fact, for everybody out there, I don't want to hear shit about your dreams and your goals until you're actually taking the actions every day for a couple weeks straight. You don't get to talk about your dreams until you can prove that you wake up and every single damn day you push yourself to take one small action forward. If you can do that consistently for a month, then you can start talking about your dreams. Then you can start talking about how you make money at it. Then you can start talking about how you build skill around it. But until you can actually get your ass out of bed and make the commitment to yourself to do the actions required to become a blogger, or to be a blogger, not become, to be a blogger, to be somebody that's in the restaurant business, you're just all talk.
Rule number 3, discover who you are with Russell Brunson.
How many of you guys are procrastinating too long and you know that? So if you have a problem and you're busy watching YouTube videos, how do you beat procrastination? So I'm actually going to do this one out, okay? So this right here, this is your computer. Right, and on your computer, there's tons of stuff happening, right? You've got your, in fact, I'm gonna make a little laptop. You see my mad drawing skills. I'm actually really bad at doodling. There you go, there's your laptop, and you're typing away, and there's all these things happening, right? There's YouTube, and there's Instagram, and there's Facebook. In fact, most of you guys are watching this on one of these platforms right now, I guarantee. And so you're probably in this procrastination mode where you're not focusing on just getting stuff done. And so for me, what I have to do is a lot of it comes back to like how you structure your day and how you figure some of those things out. But if you want to stop procrastinating, there's a couple things. One of the reasons why entrepreneurs procrastinate, I learned this from Dan Sullivan. He talked about, I'm gonna move my books over here. So he talked about most of us entrepreneurs, right? We have this vision of this thing we want to accomplish, right? So here's your vision. And you're like, I want to do that. I want to serve these people. I want to create this product. I want to make money doing what. You have this vision where you're trying to go, right? And here is you over here, and you see this vision, and you're like, this is what I have to go. And so you start on this path, you start walking towards your vision, and then something happens where you get stuck, right? Where you're trying to learn something new that you don't understand, and you're like, and you get stuck, and then what happens? I don't know about you, but I've written now a couple books, and I get this all the time when I write my books, where I'm writing, and there's like pain associated, and my brain's like, I need to do anything except for the painful thing that's over here. So you start trying to figure out other things to do, and what happens is then you start shifting to this mode of procrastination. And usually this detour happens when you're trying to figure out how do I do something, right? You're like, how do I do this thing? You start researching, then you listen to a podcast, and you're reading a book, and another thing, and then you're going searching YouTube, and then you listen to the video that shows you how to, but then you like see all the cute girls in the video there, so you watch those, and then you're off on this tangent, and then and next thing you know, it's like 3 days later, right? How many guys that happened for more than once, okay? And so what Dan Sullivan talked about, he said, look, if you want to get to your vision, you can't keep procrastinating. That's what this says right here, procrastinating. Because the thing that causes procrastination is this how do I do this thing? He said, what you have to start shifting your focus to is instead of like, how do I do it, is this question of who already knows how to do the thing I'm trying to get done, right? So for me, when I was building ClickFunnels, I could have been like, all right, first step, I need to code software called ClickFunnels, right? And I would have sat down and I would be like, okay, I get a programming book, I'm gonna read programming, I'm gonna learn Ruby on Rails, I gotta learn JavaScript, I gotta learn all these things. And I would have been procrastinating for forever because I'm not smart enough to be a programmer, right? Or I sat back and said, who do I know who actually knows how to execute on this already? And I met my partner, Todd Dickerson, who's the dude who built ClickFunnels initially, and Todd was the who already knew how to do it. So I didn't have to learn how to do programming, I just found Todd, who's the who, and he went and started programming it and got us closer to the vision, right? And then it's like, okay, I need to design a sales letter. Now, I'm not a designer, so I needed somebody to help with that. And instead of me trying to figure out how to use Photoshop, how to use Facebook ads, how all these things, each of those hows put you into this like mode of procrastination where you're stuck forever, right? And so instead of figuring out the hows, I figure out who are the people I need. Okay, if you look at any good superhero movie, what always happens, right? Usually there's like this person, there's you, and let's say I'll put a little cape on you, so you're a superhero, right? But most superheroes can't save the day. Maybe it's just because I watched Justice League and Avengers and everyone recently, but if you look at all the superhero movies, when they got a big vision, what do? The Justice League calls their people in. The Avenger group they get the Hulk, and they get Thor, and they get all the people, and they get all the who's around to help them to dominate this vision, okay? So for you, as the entrepreneur, if you're not careful, you can get in this procrastination mode where instead of you start saying, who are the people I need to build this vision, then it gets you off this procrastination or it gets you moving towards your vision. And some of you guys are sitting back saying, Russell, I don't have any money to hire a Todd or hire the people I need to get my vision, so I have to learn it because I don't have any money. I'm broke, right? Well, I got good news for you. Guess how much money I paid Todd to build ClickFunnels? At first, zero. Now he gets paid a lot of money, right? But what happened? We partnered on it. He saw the vision. He's like, oh, that vision's awesome. I want in. I said, cool, let's get together. Let's do this thing. And we both got together. We both put our skin, our time, our effort into it. And then we built the thing, right? And then like, I don't know how to buy ads. So then John on my team, I'm like, John, here's the vision. John's like, I'm in. Boom. He started buying ads. And then we started bringing all our Avenger team together to go and conquer this vision. So for you, you just got to figure out what's your vision. Who are the who's you need to execute on that vision? And then bring them together. And all of these, your superpowers, partner together and then go and create the vision. That way you won't get stuck in procrastinating, which is where most people get stuck. And I always tell people, like, entrepreneurs usually don't, it's not that they don't have the vision. The problem is they either run out of time or money before they ever get to the vision. And it's because of this. They're trying to figure out the hows on every single step of the path. And when you do that, you never actually get to the end goal. So take your computer, turn off YouTube, turn off all these things that aren't helping you, and start focusing on who are the who's I need to dominate this.
Rule number 4, regain your focus with Tom Billion.
What steps can I take to bring my focus to the one thing I'm working on while blocking out all else? All right. So the real key is you've got to learn to compartmentalize. So what I do to begin my compartmentalization is I create a list of all the important things that I should be working on. I put that list in order. This is very important. Getting good at prioritizing is an art form. It is critically important that you get good at that art form. And as you begin to break things down and put them in order, now you can tell yourself, hey, this is what I should be working on right now. So rather than trying to digest all the different things that have to be done, it's I'm focused on this one thing right now. And my only job right now is to focus on that thing. And so by not letting your mind wander, and this meditation is very good at bringing your focus back to the breath, which teaches you to bring your focus back to whatever. So I've got a lot of things, many things competing for my attention, but I know what my important things are. I'm working on the number one thing right now, let's say. And so this is my entire world. And if I find myself wandering, I bring myself back. Now, part of the reason that I can invest so heavily in that is because I have the belief that that's the most effective way to work. So since behaviors follow beliefs, you want to make sure that you put that belief in place, which is true, by the way, that you can do everything that you want to do, just not all of it at once. So everything has to be done sequentially. You can't do everything at the same time. And this is why you have to prioritize things out. So if we know that multitasking is actually a myth and that you can put people in brain scanners, and what you're seeing, people who seem like they can multitask, what they're doing is called rapid switching. So they don't have what I have, which is high switching costs. When I get in a flow, man, I can go and go and go. But if I try to bounce back and forth between things, then I pay this high price and inefficiency between the switching costs of moving from switching from that task to this task. So I focus, I stay on one thing, I have them in order, I know what I'm working on, I remind myself that I only have one job in that moment, that is to work on that thing. I know that that's the most efficient way to work, and I know that I'm good at prioritizing things, so it becomes very easy, boom, boom, boom. And then you just hold yourself accountable to actually doing that. Practice makes perfect. You might have a difficult time in the beginning. Start meditating if you need to train yourself to come back to the breath over and over and over. And then you can just apply that to whatever you're working on. Come back to the project.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Rule number 5, prioritize things with Gary Vaynerchuk.
There's a
Morning, everyone. Living, laughing, and loving our way to infinite mind wealth. Today, I'm going to share with you a moment that I watched on a video where Les Brown described what will happen when we start to try to take control of our minds and follow our dreams. And he goes on to say, and only the way Les Brown can do. And I highly recommend look him up. He's the best at demonstrating infinite mind wealth and then laughing with it and having a good time with it. And he goes on to describe a situation where he refers to us going after our dreams. And he says, get ready, because when you go after your dreams, things are going to happen. Things are going to happen that don't go your way. And when I heard this the first time, it made me laugh. He says, life is going to knock you down. It's going to throw you to the canvas. It's going to slam you down, and it's going to hold you by the throat and say, you got a dream? And then you're going to say, I ain't got no dream. No, I ain't got no dream. Because the fear will kick in. Don't let that fear kick in. Remember Les Brown and laugh our way there. Have a great day, everybody.
You cannot have innovation or progress without failure. It doesn't exist. And if you truly aren't failing as you're trying to innovate, then you're probably not pushing very hard because you haven't broken anything. You're making very, very safe choices. We could never put a person on the moon without a bunch of rockets blowing up first. Like, I met a CFO once. I asked him the priorities of the company, and he said, efficiency and innovation. And I laughed and said, well, good luck with that. You know, innovation is inherently inefficient because it requires experimentation, and experimentation requires failure. Much is said about fail fast. I actually don't like the term failure. The problem with the word failure is it's like the word cancer. It's too broad. Like, if you have stage 4 liver cancer or you have a mild melanoma, those things are both called cancer, but they are clearly not the same thing. And the same thing is when we hear the word failure. Some people think failure means experimentation, but a lot of people think failure means catastrophe. And so when we tell our company, failure is good, fail fast, that literally scares people. We don't want to fail. So I think we need a new word. We want to avoid failure. Failure is catastrophic and it should be avoided. But falling, I think we should encourage. When a kid falls off a bicycle, we didn't tell them they failed. We tell them they fell. And what do we tell them? Get back up and try again. So I don't want to tell people they failed. I want to see people they fell. And I want to encourage them to try again and brush off their knees. So I think we should fall and fall often. And I will judge the quality of innovation not necessarily by if you fell, but how quickly you can pick yourself back up and try again.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because you are probably the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more, and you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Simon Sinek, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy. Rule number 2, seek fulfillment.
Let's reinforce that point because I think it's an important one, that fulfillment is a right and not a privilege. And when we go out with our friends for dinner, well, when we used to be able to do that, you know, you sit around and somebody says, I love my job, and everybody goes, oh my God, you're so lucky, like they won something. That statement should be the norm, not the exception. We should all get to go to dinner and say, I love my job, and it's the one person who says, I don't, that we can intervene. So yeah, I believe it is a right, and we have a responsibility ourselves to find a place where we want to work with the people that we would work with, rather than just taking the biggest salary. That we have a responsibility to take care of the people around us, and we have a responsibility to speak up and ask our leaders to work with us and create a place where people want to come to work, where there's a safe space for us to take care of each other and feel taken care of. So there's mutual responsibility all around. So when you say, you know, how do we do it? Well, it requires constant work. It's like, how do you stay healthy? Well, I can give you a whole list of things you have to do. You have to eat right. You have to nurse your personal relationships. You have to get enough sleep. You have to exercise. You have to meditate. You have to be mindful. You know, there's like 30 things, and you can't do all those things well all the time. It's a striving. And when one's doing well, sometimes one thing falls off. It's a striving, and it's the same. The pursuit of fulfillment is a striving. You know, I think it's, you know, this is why I make the distinction between fulfillment and happiness. You know, to seek happiness is a lot easier because happiness is fleeting. You know, you get a new job, you're happy. You get a raise, you're happy. You win a new piece of business, you're happy. You're given a gift, you're happy. You know, somebody says something nice to you, you're happy. And that feeling goes away. No, nobody walks around with a sense of happiness for a job they got 4 years ago. It's gone. Where fulfillment is different. Fulfillment, you can feel fulfilled by your work even if you're not enjoying it today. You can feel fulfilled by your work even if you're having a bad day, you know, or one of your colleagues is grumpy. You can still be fulfilled by the work. It's more infinite. It's more constant. And so, whereas happiness is, you know, the things that lead up to it sounds more like an event. Fulfillment is a striving. It's a lifestyle. And you do all these things, like having a just cause, like building trusting teams, and working to be the leader you wish you had. In other words, you see your life as a life of service to those around you, whether you're in a company, whether you're an employee, whether you're a leader, or if you're just a parent, that you see your life in service, you know, to your spouse, your partner, or your kids, and indeed your community. What makes a community highly functional is that we view that every single person within that community sees their responsibility to serve the community rather than standing around demanding the community does something for them.
Rule number 3, develop trust.
I think courage is external, right? The reason someone has courage to jump out of an airplane is because there's a parachute on their back. It's the external thing. A world famous trapeze artist would never try a brand new death-defying act for the first time without a net. It's the net that gives them the courage. The Navy SEALs are considered one of the highest performing organizations on the planet. And a former SEAL was asked, what kind of person makes it into the SEALs? And he said, I can't tell you the kind of person that makes it in, but I can tell you the kind of person that doesn't make it in. He said the star college athletes who have never really been tested to the core of their being, none of them make it in. He said the preening leaders who like to delegate everything, none of them make it in. He says the guys who show up with hulking muscles covered in tattoos because they want to show you how tough they are, none of them make it in. He said some of the guys who make it in are skinny and scrawny. He said some of the guys who make it in, you see them shivering out of fear. He said, but every single one of the guys who makes it in, when they're emotionally exhausted, when they're physically exhausted, when they have absolutely nothing left to give, somehow, some way, they're able to dig down deep inside themselves to find the energy to help the guy next to them. In other words, the reason these organizations and these people have the courage to do remarkable things is not because of their internal strength. It's because they have the absolute confidence that there is someone to the left of them and someone to the right of them that cares about them. And they all know that. And it's the quality of the relationships that we maintain, professionally and personally, that give us the courage to do difficult things. Isaac Stern, the famous violinist, said, music is what happens between the notes. Well, something like trust happens between the meetings. Few people think about the importance of building trust when they go to work, or what do I need to do today to build trust with somebody? Like, that doesn't really go through people's minds. But we have chit-chat as we walk into the meeting. We have chit-chat when we walk out of the meeting. And we see somebody in the hall and they're like, oh, meant to tell you something. Or you knock on someone's door and be like, got a minute? And all those little innocuous interactions over the course of time, like any relationship, build trust. It's about setting up the computer, setting up Zoom and having a work session with somebody. Like we're not working on the same thing, but I want to work with somebody, a work buddy, or having a lunch with somebody over Zoom, or a Monday morning huddle where we talk about what's on our heart and minds, but we do not talk business on purpose, or Friday cocktails that are just voluntary. But the most important one is to just pick up the phone and call people and say, how are you? That level of empathy. Just check in on someone. And I think we neglect it because we get mired in the day-to-day. But, if you're organized or disorganized, literally keep a list of your team on a little card next to your computer and just, go through it. And have I called this person in a while and talked to this person? I'm just going to call and check in. It doesn't matter if something's wrong or not wrong. Just check in on them. Don't wait for something to break. And let people know that that there's connection and there's a way to reach out and say, I need help. Because and the most important thing is for leaders to be honest and open about their need to ask for help. And that'll work.
Rule number 4, love your job.
They happen to have a coffee bar in the lobby of the Four Seasons in Vegas. And so one afternoon, I went and bought myself a cup of coffee. And the barista working that day was a kid named Noah. Noah was funny and charming and engaging, and I spent far too long buying a cup of coffee because I just so enjoyed talking to Noah. So as is my nature, I asked Noah, do you like your job? And without skipping a beat, Noah said, I love my job. Now, in my line of work, that's significant. Like is rational. I like the people, I like the work, I get paid well, I like my job. Love is emotional. It's a higher order connection. Right? Like, do you love your wife? I like her a lot, right? Clearly, it's clearly a different standard, right? Yeah. So when Noah said, I love my job, my ears perked up. This kid has an emotional connection to his work. So immediately I followed up and said, tell me specifically what the Four Seasons is doing that you would say to me, you love your job. And again, without skipping a beat, Noah said, throughout the day, managers will walk past me and ask me how I'm doing, ask me if there's anything that I need to do my job better, not just my manager, any manager. And then he said, I also work at another hotel. And there the managers walk past us and catch us when we do something wrong. There the managers are always trying to drive performance and make sure we hit our numbers. He said, there I'd like to keep my head below the radar, get through the day and just collect my paycheck. Only at the Four Seasons do I feel I can be myself. Now, this is the exact same human being working at 2 different companies, and yet our experience of him will be profoundly different, not because of him, but because of the leadership environment in which he works. You know, I get this question all the time. You know, Simon, how do we get the most out of our people? People are not a towel that you wring them out to see how much you can get out of them. You know, it's
Yeah. That's a good one, man.
It's a flawed question. The question is, how do we create an environment in which our people can work at their natural best? And that is the art of leadership. It's creating an environment in which relationships can thrive, in which trust can thrive. And we all know what it feels like to be on a trusting team, right? It means that we feel psychologically safe enough to raise our hand and say, I made a mistake, or I need help, or I'm having trouble at home and it's affecting my work, or I'm scared, or I don't know what to do. Without any fear of humiliation or retribution, but rather to say these things with the absolute confidence that someone on our team will rush to support us. Unfortunately, we also all know what it feels like not to work on a trusting team, where admitting any of those things could hurt your chances of promotion, could hurt your chances of, you could be humiliated. And so when we work on teams where leadership is creating an environment where trust is at a premium, we force our people to come to work and lie, hide, and fake, where they're pretending that they've made no mistakes. They're lying, hiding, and faking, and eventually things will crack and things will eventually break. And when you talk about reinvention and you talk about innovation and you talk about challenging the status quo or whatever it is, necessarily there's risk, and necessarily there are mistakes, and necessarily there's stupid ideas. And you have to create an environment in which that's good. The alternative is everybody playing it safe, which is not the way that leads to vast or significant improvement.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Rule number 5, help others grow.
There's no such thing